Hello, and welcome to Border live with Rudy Mireles. I'm Rudy. It is 8 p.m. Rio Grande Valley Standard Time on this Friday, January 17th. The weekend is here, and thanks so much to those of you kicking off with me right now on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and TikTok Live. Right now, I see folks on TikTok already commenting. I'll get to those during the break if they're fun or interesting. For those of you regulars on here, you're probably wondering why I'm on so late today. Well, that is because I listened to folks that are regulars, and I made some changes, and today is the first show of the new 8 p.m. time slot, but it's also the final Friday show as I transition to Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 8 p.m. on all those platforms. For those of you listening on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts, you're going to get the audio version shortly after we do the live stream. But anyway, now we got that housekeeping out of the way. Lots of stuff to talk about today. We're going to get to the headlines. We're going to talk about yesterday's SpaceX launch. And we'll also talk about weather next week. Still no snow. That hasn't changed, so don't expect any snow. But anyway, as always, first, Border to Border Live is brought to you by Gelman Vision. From LASIK to cataracts, board-certified cornea specialist Dr. Rachel Gelman will help you change the way that you see the world. Call 956-302-1015 or visit gelmanvision.com to schedule a consultation today. We are actually, I went to KURV yesterday for the 956 drive home with Davis and Zach. Davis ranking, Zach Ken 2, producer Joe had us both out there, me and Dr. Gelman yesterday. Had lots of fun. You can catch that on my Facebook or the KURV Facebook, KURV 710 a.m. Dr. Gelman's on there every Thursdays. And also, are you looking to buy or sell property in the Valley? Well, at Rio Realty, we bring local experience and personalized service to every deal. Let me help you find your dream home or get the most out of your home's value. Call me at Rio Realty today, 956-230-7733, or visit rudymireles.com to contact me. Like I said, we're going to talk weather and SpaceX in a moment. Let's start with today's headlines, starting with 3 firefighters from FAR have joined the battle against the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles. Battalion Chief Sergio Vasquez, Engineer Jesus Gonzalez, and Engineer Carlos Cavazos are part of the Alamo Strike Team. It's a 22-member group from South Texas working to prevent that fire from spreading into the urban areas out there in California. The wildfires have primarily burned through brush and undergrowth, and the strike team has been assigned to specific areas to contain the flames. It's a fluid situation, obviously, like anything like this, any emergency situation. So the assignments are changing as the fire shifts. But the teams are operating on a 24-hour rotation with a full day of work followed by a day of rest. Still 24 hours, even if you get a day off in between, man, that's no joke. These firefighters were deployed through the Texas Intrastate Fire Mutual Aid System, which is a program that provides training and resources to fire departments for disaster response. FAR Fire Chief Pilar Rodriguez shared that the department stays in daily contact with the crew to ensure they have what they need and to monitor their well-being. The 3 are going to be there in California for 10 days, after which another team may be sent if assistance is still required. Chief Rodriguez expressed pride in his team and encouraged the community to keep them in their thoughts as they work to protect lives and property several states away. So shout out to them. We'll be keeping them in our prayers along with everyone out there that's being impacted by those fires. It's just a scary and sad situation. In other news, leaders from across the Rio Grande Valley gathered in Edinburgh this week to give a State of the Valley update at a luncheon hosted by the RGV Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. The panel included judges from Hidalgo, Cameron, and Starr counties, along with a representative from Willacy County. A big focus of the discussion was on how collaboration across county lines has helped the region grow. Leaders pointed to regional thinking as a driving force behind progress in areas like transportation, economic development, and attracting big industries. Cameron County Judge Eddie Trevino Jr. highlighted plans for a second causeway to South Padre Island. We've talked about this several times. I've told you about this for the last few years. But the state is actually now going to cover the cost, turning what was once a local burden into a statewide project. The new causeway will also connect to Edinburgh, making it easier for residents of Hidalgo County to get out to South Padre Island. That is huge, but it is going to take a long time. I think they were like in year 3. We're going into year 3 or year 4 of like a 10-year plan. You know, it takes a long time because they have to do all these different studies. And now that Cameron County's handing that off to the state, that might start the process over in some ways. So it'll take some time to get there, but that is incredibly good news coming out of Cameron County. So hopefully we can expect that in the next decade or so. Speaking of next decade, Trevino also shared updates on major investments in Cameron County like SpaceX SpaceX's expansion and the $18 billion next decade LNG project at the Port of Brownsville. Starr County Judge Eloy Vera announced the county now hosts Texas's largest solar farm. And Willacy County Commissioner Ernie Garcia discussed wind turbine projects and new electric battery farms coming out there to Willacy County. That's huge out there. We've already seen those wind turbines going up over the last decade or so over there in Willacy County. That's big for them. That's a big investment opportunity for them because it, for a long time, that jail was, a big economic impact for them. And then having that jail close up shop, that hurt them. But those investments in different things like wind and now solar definitely can help Willacy County stay ahead of the curve if anything like that ever happens again. Alongside the successes, though, the leaders did acknowledge ongoing challenges. Hidalgo County Judge Richard Cortez spoke about poverty and efforts to provide job training and mentorship through the Prosperity Task Force that he created. I believe it was last year or the year before in Hidalgo County. Starr County is also tackling high unemployment rates with new investments in education, but the county judge out there, County Judge Vera, noted there is still work to be done. Water scarcity, it's a big one. We've talked about it for several years now. Also emerged as a critical issue during a Q&A session. Leaders did stress the need for federal support to enforce water sharing agreements with Mexico and improve outdated irrigation systems. Despite those challenges, though, the event did highlight how the Valley's counties are working together to address common problems and build a brighter future together. So that's always good news. And speaking of building and economic development, right? The Texas Department of Transportation, TxDOT's inviting public input on a proposed project to create the Interstate 69 connector. Now, this highway would link I-69 US 281 near Edinburgh to I-69 US 77 north of Harlingen, and it would cross through Hidalgo, Cameron, and Willacy counties. The project is estimated to cost between $500 million and $750 million and would cover about 25 miles and include new highway construction with bridges at major intersections. TxDOT says the connector could serve as an additional hurricane evacuation route and help ease traffic congestion on I-2. Where daily traffic between Pharr and Harlingen rivals busy corridors like Austin to San Antonio. Public meetings are planned to gather feedback on the project and its conceptual alternatives. A virtual meeting will be available starting January 20th on the TxDOT website. Just search I-69C US 281. Two in-person open house meetings are also scheduled for January 21st at Johnny Economides High School in Edinburgh and January 23rd at Santa Rosa High School, both from 5 to 7 p.m. At those meetings, you'll be able to look at displays. You're going to be able to talk to folks from TxDOT and watch some pre-recorded presentations in both English and Spanish, and you can submit your comments there. So it's a chance for you to submit your thoughts and kind of help to shape the future of that project here in the Valley. In other news, a new mobile dental clinic is set to hit the streets of Cameron and Willacy counties, bringing much needed care to kids right where they are. So Clinica has teamed up with Ronald McDonald House Charities, which donated a $500,000 mobile healthcare unit to make it possible. So the high-tech dental office on wheels will have everything needed to do screenings, oral exams, x-rays, teeth cleaning, and even sealants to help prevent cavities. The clinic's going to serve up to children up to 18 years old in underserved areas. The unit has room for 2 patients at a time and plans to station it at schools, food pantries, Head Start programs, housing authorities, and community centers starting next month or March. Once that schedule is finalized, they're going to put that on their website, but it's a pretty good step in making sure kids are getting the dental care they need around here. Good stuff. Fun one to share with you. I love zoo stories. Anytime the zoo does something big, I love to share it. Gladys Porter Zoo in Brownsville has a tall new addition to its family. A 17-foot tall giraffe named Malcolm made quite the journey, came all the way from Miami, and he's now one of the largest giraffes the zoo has ever housed. Zoo officials say Malcolm isn't just big, he is a gentle giant. Visitors will have the chance to meet him up close at the giraffe landing feeding experience, where you can feed him and his giraffe friends. One of my favorite things to do when I go to to the zoo. Here's something else to know. Giraffes like Malcolm are listed as endangered by the International Union of Conservation of Nature. That makes him coming even more special, as it highlights the zoo's commitment to conservation. And they always do such a good job out there. They have one of the best wildlife rehabilitation programs in the state, if not the country, at the Gladys Porter Zoo. So if you're in the area, head over to Gladys Porter Zoo down there in the Midi Cultural District, downtown Brownsville. You're going to fall in love with that guy, I'm sure. I'm going to take my little boy. Turn 6 months today, my son. Happy half birthday, Ben. So now it's time to get to the big talk. Everybody saw it yesterday, and if you haven't, I'm sure you'll see it on social media today or tonight. SpaceX Flight 7, highs, lows, what's next? Let's talk about it. SpaceX's 7th test flight of Starship, the world's largest and most powerful rocket, gave us a roller coaster of results yesterday. So let's all kind of break it down real quick. So the launch happened at about a little after 4:30 yesterday from Starbase. Booster 14 and ship 33 took off into the sky. And if you didn't, we could see that plume. We were watching online because we were heading over to KURB, as I was saying, to go. Dr. Gelman and I to go on to the 956 drive home on 710 News Talk 710 KURB. So also big shout out to and thanks to Davis Rankin, Zach Cantu, producer Joe out there. You guys are always fun. I've been out there a couple times, mostly behind the scenes. I got to go on air yesterday. So I appreciate you guys having us out. A lot of fun. But yeah, that launch happened and we were watching it. But as we were driving to the radio station, we could actually see the plume that was left over still. And you could see the wind shear going through it. So pretty cool stuff. But all 33 of the Super Heavy boosters engines performed as expected during the initial ascent, propelling the 400-plus foot stack towards space. They actually made it a little bigger. The changes from the last ship, they actually made it a little taller. So the launch, again, the big win for this is Booster 14 executed a near flawless return to the launch site after separating from Ship 33. For a second time, it performed a boost back burn with 12 of its 13 engines for the landing burn. All 13 engines relit, including the one that skipped the boost back. The result was a precision catch, as I said, by only the second time by the tower's chopstick arms, which it's tricky to do that. It's catching a falling dart in midair with chopsticks, and they were able to do it for a second time now, SpaceX. So that was pretty cool to witness. Now, Ship 33, however, had a tough day. And it no longer exists. Ship 33, the upper stage, the actual Starship part, not the rocket that sends it up. After separating from the booster, it fired all 6 of its engines, but telemetry, that's essentially the rocket's data stream, the rocket's live stream, was lost about 8.5 minutes into flight. Initial investigations suggest a fire broke out in the engine area, leading to what SpaceX calls a rapid unscheduled disassembly, or as we regular folks call it, it exploded in the air. Now, Ship 33 did have some upgrades. It did have a bigger fuel tank. Now, we talked about that. I was wondering if that was going to impact anything. We don't know for sure if it impacted anything, but SpaceX, as I just said, suspects that a fire started in the engine compartment, so that fuel tank being there could have had something to do with it. Enhanced heat shields and a new payload system designed to carry 10 mock Starlink satellites. Those satellites were supposed to deploy mid-flight in a test of the cargo system. Unfortunately, none of those objectives was achieved. So what was tested? The flight wasn't just about getting to space. Again, they tested faster fueling. SpaceX reduced propellant loading times by nearly 4 minutes. Better heat shields, smaller gaps between tiles to improve re-entry durability, revised aerodynamics. Forward flaps were removed and resized to minimize heat damage and improve control during descent. That's the steering wheels, essentially, those wings you see at the tip of the nose there. And payload system upgrades, a redesigned payload bay with a larger PEZ dispenser for deploying Starlink satellites. The plan also included an in-space engine relight test and a simulated test of a future catch mechanism for the Starship stage during reentry. Those are goals for future flights still, though. Lessons learned, SpaceX said, even one flight with a loss like this helps improve the rocket's design and reliability. They're not really sure what the root cause is of Ship 33's failure, but SpaceX and the FAA are working to figure out what went wrong to try to stop it from happening again. So what's next? So they've already built Flight 8, the hardware for Flight 8. It's undergoing pre-launch testing right now. So we're going to see some delays and closures, I'm sure, over the next couple weeks as they, do fuel load testing and all kinds of stress testing out there as they get ready to go. But if Flight 8 goes as planned, it could feature Starship's first orbital payload deployment and possibly test a ship catch during reentry, which we have not seen either, which would be pretty cool. The bigger picture, why all this effort? They want to eventually send this to Mars, as we've discussed, right? But that's where things stand right now. Flight 7, incredible booster catch, lost the Starship itself. Valuable lessons learned for the future. And SpaceX is going to keep going to see what happens next for Flight 8. Nothing yet on when Flight 8 might happen. We'll keep you informed on that department. Now, as we wrap up the week, the other big thing to talk about is the big weather shift heading our way. And while Saturday is going to start off warm, by the evening, that cold front's going to start rolling in to shake things up. Bottom line up front, as I said already, no snow in the valley. So let's break it down. Tomorrow, going to kick off pretty mild by late morning. Temperatures are going to climb into the upper 60s. By early afternoon, we're going to hit the low 70s. But don't let it fool you, because it's not going to stick around. By the evening, that cold front could move through, bringing breezy to windy conditions across the valley. And it's going to be like that, right? Like the flip of a switch. Think about it like Mother Nature just decided to flip into winter mode all of a sudden. Now, Sunday's where you're really going to feel the difference, all right? Highs will only reach the mid to upper 50s. That is going to be about a 20-degree drop day over day. And the sunshine is going to take a back seat to some clouds, so you're not even going to have the sun to like stand in the warm spots if you're going to be outside. There's even a chance for some patchy fog early in the morning, so keep that in mind if you're heading out to church, heading out to get the barbacoa, whatever it may be on Sunday morning. And if you're planning any outdoor plans this weekend, Saturday is going to be your best bet. By Sunday, it's sweater weather all day long. I got my Detroit Lions sweater ready to go for some playoff football. But heading into next week, it's going to get even colder. Monday morning, we're going to be back into the 40s, and Tuesday and Wednesday bring the real chill to us with freezing temperatures possible is in the rural areas of like Northern Star, Willacy, maybe even Hidalgo County. You could see some wintry mix, right? Not snow, but what's a wintry mix? It's a combination of rain, sleet, and maybe a snowflake or two. Maybe, but don't expect like to go out there and be making snow angels. It ain't going to happen. Strictly to forecasts and conditions, as we discussed on Wednesday, have to line up just right for it to happen here in the valley. So if anything does fall, it's likely going to melt on contact. So don't even worry about it. But what could happen is it could become slick out there. So be careful out on those roads. Now, so here's the bottom line. Cold weather is coming. It's going to stick around through the week. Bundle up, especially Tuesday and Wednesday mornings when freezing temperatures are possible. Get those kids out to the bus stop, bundled up, jacket, hat, gloves, scarf if they've got it. Make sure they are ready to go. While the chances for wintry weather are slim, it's worth keeping an eye on, especially for those of you in the northern ranchlands against Star, Willacy County, maybe even northern Hidalgo County, but doubtful. Just keep an eye on things out there. Bring your plants, make sure your pets, your animals, your livestock, all that's good to go. Stay warm, stay safe, and I'll keep you updated if anything changes over the weekend and into Tuesday, because that's when the next show is. Remember, we're done with this one. I told you about that change earlier, but there's a lot more coming our way too. We got lots of stuff on tap over the next week or two. I wanted to get everything ready in January, so we're ready to really, really, really roll once February comes, and that's what I've been doing. So I've got some great guests lined up to start coming on in the next week or two. We've got Lisa Campos from Explore Harlingen Magazine, Thom Denton from Texas Highways Magazine is going to start coming on to talk about some stories he's working on. And we have some great educational information for first-time home buyers coming out. I got some folks from around the industry here in the Valley who want to arm you with the knowledge you need to buy a home. So definitely keep watching as we grow the show together a little more each week. And thank you guys so much, all of you, for being here on Facebook Live, TikTok Live. There it is. I forgot I moved it up here now. YouTube Live, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. As always, Border to Border Live is brought to you by Gelman Vision. From LASIK to cataracts, board-certified cornea specialist Dr. Rachel Gelman will help you change the way you see the world. Call 956-302-1015 or visit gelmanvision.com today to schedule a consultation. And are you looking to buy or sell property in the Rio Grande Valley? Maybe it's an investment. Maybe it's a 1031 exchange. You're trying to, prolong that tax bill. Well, at Rio Realty, we bring local experience and personalized service to every deal. It doesn't matter if it's residential, commercial, whatever it may be. Let me help you find your dream home or get the most out of your home or property's value. Call me today at Rio Realty 956-230-7733 or visit rudymireles.com today to contact me. Well, that's it. Love you guys. See y'all Tuesday. Until then, have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay warm, and be good.